This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. Challenging times we're upon. I'm stating the obvious, but there's a reason for that. There's a lot of angst, a lot of anxiety too, a lot of layoffs going on, changes in business. Um, it is what it is. We have to deal with it, but we have to have the right mindset for that, staying positive, making sure our relationships are flourishing. And we're going to talk with somebody today who harnesses the power of that and so much more, right down to personal coaching, professional coaching. He also offers business consulting. He's the man when it comes to logistics in running a business as well. And we're going to pick his brain on staying positive and some challenging times. Davonte Williams is back with us. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. And I want to go right there in asking, what are you hearing from people that you work with, people in your circles? What are they saying?
Yeah, as you said it's a challenging time. There is not a lot of positive news around the corner. We're mostly hearing about layoffs and different places closing down, businesses scaling back more than they're scaling up or opening more positions. And so it's feeling kind of bleak out there for a lot of different people, whether you are a seasoned professional, maybe at a larger company experiencing layoffs in other departments, kind of wondering, when is this going to happen to me? Or a new professional just entering the job market for the first time, just coming out of college, looking for your first entry-level
Mm,
position. Hiring is really difficult right now. The hiring system is really fundamentally broken. And so it really is difficult to differentiate yourself when there are so scarce opportunities. And so with all of that negativity, I think that it's more important now to try and leverage your skills towards being positive, towards practicing gratitude, because the
mm,
harsh truth is that these problems aren't going away. And if you are somebody that succumbs to the negativity and the bleakness of it, your chances of overcoming it just go down. You're less likely to find that new job, to start that new business, to scale up, or to find new opportunities. And so a lot of the work and a lot of the focus of my attention now is just talking people to the storm.
mm. Thankfully, they have you because it's sometimes we're kind of like the ship at sea, and there's a storm coming, and you feel like you're by yourself on that ship. How do
Yeah.
you stay positive? What's your advice there?
I think it really boils down to some simple, fundamental human things. I think practicing gratitude is a major one. And whether you do that through a journal or whether it's guided with the help of someone like me or a loved one or someone else, it's counting and focusing on what is good in your life, because there are a lot of struggles right now. People are losing their livelihoods and a lot of different things, but we all have something to be grateful for, whether it's our families or our health or the fact that we were able to have a good opportunity in the first place and have
Hmm.
a chance to learn and develop as a professional and to posture yourself as someone that can seek a new opportunity as maybe something better. Maybe you're going from mid-level management and now this is a time to seek leadership roles, or maybe you were entry level. Now you're trying to go into mid-level management and take on more responsibilities. There is so much to be grateful for all of us and the things that we have, despite all of the recent challenges that we're facing. And so putting that into practice and actively acknowledging that every day, especially when it's tough, when you're late for work or that unexpected problem comes up or that unexpected bill or the car breaks down. That is the time, even though it is very counterintuitive, you're not really thinking of the things that you're grateful for, but
Mm.
that is the time where you have to actively shift your mindset into being grateful for what is great. Maybe your car broke down, but it didn't explode. You didn't crash. Everyone's safe. Looking on the bright side and the silver lining is a very practical skill set.
what I'm detecting from you, and I agree with you here. Um, I keep a gratitude journal and I write in it pretty much every day. Three things. That's it. What are you grateful for? What are your strengths today? What are you feeling? You can buy them on Amazon. I'm not kidding when I tell you it's like 8, $9, and it'll last you a year or more. And it just takes your hand through it. Where you could write in a notebook, that's fine too. But I just like having the feels to fill out. But I'm detecting from you that the key here to the right mindset to weather the storm truly is gratitude. That's it. Would you agree?
I think that, yeah, that is a major, major, major part of it. And kudos to you for keeping the journal too. Writing it down is also such a powerful tool in manifesting that. Typing things on a keyboard, it just doesn't do the same for you
Scientifically
psychologically.
proven.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Exactly.
connection between the mind and the hand and physically writing it out, it's almost as if it came physically from you and now it is real because it's in front of you and it came from your hand, as opposed to just typing something down.
Yeah, yeah, which is a shift in the world that we live in now. We think that
Mm.
digital assets are really so important, and they are, but sometimes it's going back to the basics and just doing what we have been doing as humans for so many hundreds
Yeah.
of years. And so gratitude, yeah, absolutely is a major part of it. But I think that one of the other components of it, because it is hard to go through this alone, it's community.
Mm.
And I think that we've talked about community and networking in a professional sense, whether you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to branch out into a new entrepreneurial endeavor, finding a gap in your community, what they need and what might be successful in a way that feels good or that is also just monetarily profitable. But it's also just leveraging your community to emphasize to yourself that you're not alone, that the struggles that you're facing are not isolated, that there are many other people that are going through the same thing. And whether you are having solution-oriented discussions, which is helpful, but sometimes you just got to vent. You just got to talk about it. You just got
Mm.
to find somebody that understands what you're going through so that you can remind yourself that you are not alone.
What are some of the things that you do to connect? Do you do networking? Do you go to events? Do you meet up with groups?
Yeah, and this is the tough part, right? Because
Mm.
everyone hates networking. It's
Honestly,
it's
that's why I asked because
yeah.
I want to pick your brain on that one.
Yeah, it's tough. And I think that so much of it is because of the traditional structure of networking where when you're going to an event that is for networking specifically, it's a business networking bar or event or whatever it is.
Yep, yep.
Everyone is going in with kind of a similar mindset where they kind of have to be here. They really might want to be here because it's what they need to do for their business or for their career,
Yep.
but they're not really intrinsically motivated to be here. They're open maybe to having some connections and maybe finding someone they like, but they're not exactly excited to, go to this bar and talk about
Mhm.
B2B, business sales or whatever it is that they're focused on. And so I think a good way of circumventing that is to focus less on networking events that are geared specifically towards building an asset, less towards that transactional relationship where you give me something, I give you something, and focus on things that you actually enjoy doing. I think that we've seen it in more traditional business aspects where, if you talk to older people in different generations where they met their business partner. Nobody's going to tell you it was at the conference of X, Y, and Z. It's my golfing buddy. It's my running buddy. It's
Mm.
the guy that goes to the neighborhood pool or that kayaks. And so I would say look at the communities near you that are aligned with your beliefs and your interests, whether it's like a pickleball group that meets up or a soccer group that meets in a field every once a week, and it's just a ton of different people. Find places where you can build authentic relationships that are not geared towards the end goal of receiving something that's going to boost your business or your career, and leverage those relationships. And not all of them are going to be very helpful in that way, but I think the more important aspect is to build those authentic relationships and then open up not just that one person in their network, but open up everyone. You go to
Mm.
these networks, you find that you meet a good friend and you authentically build that relationship. It's not just him that's in your network now, it's that person is going to advocate for you. They're going to reach out to everyone. Their uncle that does this, their coworker that does that. They are going to push for you and try to set you up for success in every way that they can. Or at the very least, they're a thought partner. They're somebody that cares about your well-being and is just there to talk to you, or they're just there to help you enjoy something that you authentically do and maybe relieve a little bit of stress.
I'm on your page. Thank you for your true transparency on this. Like you being real about it. Yeah. How many of us really, really, really love going to networking meetings week after week after week? And I just started getting back into it since COVID, launching a couple of different platforms and just, but I've been there. But when you think about it, sometimes all it takes is one or two or three, five, whatever, really big accounts, depending on what you do. And it's not going to come at the first meeting. It's creating that relationship. I have a marketing company. My biggest account, I met at a Chamber of Commerce meeting in 2009, and I'm still with them and still growing and said, next project, here's another one. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's exciting, but you never know. That's why you need to go. But I believe, within that, you have to maximize it. What's the pitch, the elevator speech? You get your 30 seconds, your 60 seconds, whatever it might be. And I know it's uncomfortable for some. Totally get
Mhm.
that. But make it fun. Maybe we should talk about that. Different things that you can do to be memorable, to stand out. I was at a meeting 2 nights ago. I'm thinking about joining this group. I have some connections there that I know, and that's why I'm at that group. And there was an estate attorney that started speaking, and she got some push to her. Side note: the spot within the venue, the restaurant bar, had to change because there was a party going on upstairs. It was really noisy, and she decided to still go through with her speech. And she had it was a spotlight. She cut through all the clutter. And the one thing I remember about her, and of course she's talking about, irrevocable trusts and all that, what she offers. You know what stood out for me? And nobody ever does this. And it's so elementary. She spoke about her life. She said, I'm married. I have 2 kids. I used to work in the hospitality industry. Listen, I remember it all because she was real. She was real. And a lot of us feel that, let me leave that out because nobody really cares, but it makes you you. It makes you a person. I want to get to know you before I do business with you. I feel like I know her. Would I ever use her? I'm closer to that right now because I feel, a little more connected. So I just wanted to share that because it's a lot of times I wouldn't even think of it. I'm there. How can I help you? What's involved? And all of that. She was real. She added a real element there. Any other thoughts? If we're out there networking, what would you suggest?
Oh, I think that that's such a big part of it is leveraging that realness, that authenticity in demonstrating that outside of the veneer of the professional, of the titles that you have, that you are a person in this world that is doing your best as just as everybody else is,
Hmm.
and usually trying to do your best in a way that allows you to be a nice and kind person. And I think that if you can convey that in some sort of sense, that's something that people pick on, where they can say almost at a glance, that's somebody that I feel like I can trust. That's somebody that reminds me of my family member, my friend, whoever it is. And I think that that's a big part of it too, is trying to position yourself as if this was a more intimate connection. I think if you are looking for the kind of people that you would go out of your way for to make sure that they're successful, your children, your family members, your cousin, one of your great friends, and if you had to work in a professional setting with them, what you would do to make sure that they were successful and what they might do for you, but then just to shift that towards other people because they can all fill that role in the very same way, where you're kind of putting on this little glaze over people where you're not looking at them as, you know, the board on the Chamber of Commerce of, whoever this person is, but saying, this is my friend, this is my cousin, this is
Yep.
somebody that I want to see successful. And then the other thing in that I think that really is successful as, or really is important as a practical skill is to learn the art of storytelling, which I think
Mm,
gets skewed in a lot of ways because it's often geared towards sales or marketing or things that people aren't as interested as in doing, where they just kind of look at them and be like, I can't do sales, I can't do marketing, I can't be a presenter. But you can tell a story. This is something that is innate in every single human. And it's just kind of learning what those key attributes are in how you tell a story and the kind of stories that you tell, how you focus on the things that are really important that will bridge and inspire that connection with somebody else so that you can enter those relationships, which will translate into partnerships and
sure.
opportunities and all of these other things.
Everybody's got a story, and I find everybody's story interesting because there's little pieces that you take from it. Even at the very least, in this attorney's story, I feel like I know her a little bit better, even though I really don't know her. And even at networking events, if a lot of times you're given as they rotate the spotlight. So sometimes they give you 5 minutes to talk about what you do, whatever. I always try to make it fun. Yes, information comes out, how you can help them. I'll even do trivia. And it could be even connected to your niche and get some Starbucks gift cards, $5 a piece, get three, whatever, and have fun with it. Ask a
Hmm.
question firsthand, get raise your hand if you think you have the answer. First one to get it wins. There's so many different things you can do. Why are we talking about this? Because sometimes it's not fun. So make it fun, week after week after week of going to those. But that's how, like you said, you form those relationships, those alliances, and people start liking you, and then they start referring you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell your stories, share your successes, but also share your failures. I think that what has been one of the most convincing things that I've heard when I go to these events is hearing about the ventures and the initiatives that these interesting people have done that haven't worked out, where they thought they had this great business idea and something catastrophic happens, or it's demonstrating humility, self-awareness, and also just the varied experience that some
Mm,
people have in, I've worked with people in operations, which is can be a very narrow field sometimes, depending on what you're working on.
sure.
And we've talked about one person had a fleet of Turo vehicles where they had like 30 cars that they were just kind of juggling around in the city. I've talked to other people that have run ice cream trucks and parlors and stands, or have done different niche jobs. People that have worked as instructors to install car seats and teach people how to properly, restrain their kid in their car seat so that they're safe and doing it properly.
As a business,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There is a person in New York. I believe she is literally called the car seat lady on her website, and is just like the foremost authority on car seat safety, and that's it. She
what a
has
great
everyone.
idea.
Yeah,
Seriously,
yeah.
any parent will tell you, you always wonder if you have the seat installed right. And right down to you get on the seat with your knee and you pull in the seat belt. I've even
Mm-hmm.
done radio connected on a weekend, call it a Saturday, a car seat safety check, get, police personnel, come down to, the McDonald's on 4th and Main, between the hours of 11 and 1, bring your car and you have a cop check your seat to make sure it's right. Um, I would have back then when my kids were younger, I would have paid just for the peace of
Hmm.
mind to have somebody check my seat and tell me things like, because a lot of times you got to take the seat out to put things in the car and then you got to put the seat back and it's like, it didn't fit the same way. Great idea. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It was a great opportunity and a great person. And it's something I actually ended up doing myself. So I got certified several years ago and was also doing these
Wow.
uh car seat
I
safety
didn't even know there
instructions
was
with
a
parents.
certification for that.
Yep. Yep. Car
Wow.
passenger safety technician. And it's just one of those things. Yeah, you think that only firemen and police officers can do it because traditionally that's it. But there are it could be anybody. You take a course, you pay for however much it costs, you do the study, you pass the test, you
Wow.
keep your continuing education credits. But yeah, it's just one of those things you can add to your portfolio, your skill set to get a little extra income here and there.
But look at
But
this. I want to point out something here.
mhm,
In the story, say your story, knowing that you're certified in that is also a talking point in
mhm,
anything that you do because it shows who you are and that you care. Okay, on the back end, maybe you're compensated for making sure car seats are installed right. But again, you care. You care enough to take a certification course to do it right. So that speaks volumes. And that's,
mhm,
that's one of those things, the story. Oh, by the way, I'm also certified as a la 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 la. Um,
mhm.
that's cool. You know,
Yeah.
things that people don't realize.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that whatever you can do to serve your community, people are going to respond to that. It is
Good.
really a delight to be around people that are just doing these weird, odd, niche things to just help out in a way that they can. So whatever you can do to be that person, I say go for it. It's always a winner.
How do you change your mindset? So, for example, let's say you do sales. Things are going okay. No, wait a minute. You lost two accounts, big ones. Right away, what do we think? Oh,
Mm.
my salary just went down. Oh my gosh, blah 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 blah. How would you flip that around? How would you flip that around to a positive?
It can be tough. It can be tough to get out of that funk
Mm,
and to see the bright side in that. And I think that there are some tried and true methods that I use. I think one of the bigger ones is always to look at what you've learned in that.
mm,
Failure is tough. Loss is tough. It's biological. It's proven. It's you feel the losses so much more than you feel the wins. But shifting that perspective into finding what you have gained, what you have learned, even if it's a hard lesson, I just kind of look at it as, if this is how much I've lost for this, this is how much I paid for this lesson. This was an expensive one, maybe this time, but I did learn to do this, to not do this, to be aware of this, to prepare for this, to build this safety net in this way, or to ask for help maybe next time. Maybe if I had so and so in this department helping me out, or my supervisor, or whoever it is backing me on this, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
mm,
So, looking at it from a growth mindset, what you have gained, what you can gain, what you can learn is one that always helps me.
mm.
Um, but I think even just turning back to gratitude when it's tough, if it's just you need something now, write down what you're grateful for, write down what you have to look forward to.
Take inventory. I
Yeah,
call it taking inventory. We don't take
absolutely.
inventory. We just keep moving forward, moving forward. And even with those two accounts, maybe you spent time on them on a regular basis. Now they're gone. Well, now look at the opportunity. Well, now I have more time to
Hmm.
maybe network, to get out there, maybe to push in a different direction. Maybe, and I believe, the universe kind of guides us where we should be going. We fight it often, but maybe there's a reason that you should be heading in this direction without those two accounts, whatever it might be. But there's look for the opportunity. And but being real, I'm not one of those people that put the rose-colored glasses on and just everything's great, everything's
Hmm.
fantastic. No, being real about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's going to sting, but there could be opportunity in that you're not even seeing. How do we find you, Davonte? How do we connect with you if somebody's going through these challenges, or if they got a business and they They all take it to another level in terms of operations or even personal coaching.
Yeah, you reach me at my website, www.kindpyre.com, KINDPYRE, kind, compassion, being good to each other, and pyre as in like a funeral pyre.
Mhm.
I have a contact form there. Send me a message on whatever it is that you want to do, and let's have a conversation.
Awesome. I think I've shared this with you before. I love the name of your business. Um, and I'm going to say it again because I think it fits what we're talking about today. But I end every radio show, even though we play music, with these words. Everyone, be kind to yourself and others, especially to yourself.
Hmm.
Like I don't, we beat ourselves
Hmm.
up, but certainly others as well. Davonte, thank you so much for being here today, all your insight along the way, and looking forward if there's a chance that we get together again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you
Awesome.
for having me. It's been a delight.
Likewise, we'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.